Welcome to Global Nicole. It's time to add a twist. Literally, we're going to be doing rotation. That means that we're going to start to activate a little bit more the oblique fibers of your abdominals by bringing the rib to the opposite hip. You're going to get a stretch across the back and activation across the front so that you get into your crossbody pattern, which is basically what we do when we walk as well. You don't always think about your obliques being on fire when you're walking, thank goodness, because we would all be exhausted every time we walk. But we're really going to fire that, so hopefully you can feel a little bit or think a little bit about that when you do things like walking or, when you're crawling around on the floor, all that good stuff. So a couple of things before we go. If you have osteoporosis or you have any disc issues in your spine or diastasis of your rectus abdominis, so if you have diastasis recti, any of that stuff, I'm going to give you a quick little variation before we jump into the exercise. So we're going to be doing what I like to call Criss Cross, and there's an exercise where we really send our legs out and do a full crisscross. We're just going to be doing a really peeled back basic crisscross exercise of rotation combined with the marching leg work that we've been working on. So let's look at a few tips and tricks. So a couple of things when we go into this is that, of course, pelvis level. We're going to be having one leg up, other leg up, right? When you do this, both legs up, we really want to keep this level, and it's going to want to roll around side to side, and it's going to want to tip forward and back, especially because we're going to be twisting through our ribs. And you'll see if I just naturally do this, my knees are moving like that. We're going to take that and we're going to let the legs move, but I want the pelvis to stay really stable. The other thing is you really want to think not so much about I've got to rotate as much as possible. You really just want to think the rib here in the front is wrapping towards this opposite hip. So there's like a little, I always think of I put on suspenders backwards. So it's like I've got an X across the front of my body. So left ribs to right hip and right hip to right ribs to twist me to the right. As I go to the right into this twist, I feel like my left ribs in the back, like my shirt is getting more stretch and pull. So the fabric of my body is getting a little bit more space, and my right ribs are connecting down into the ground a little bit more. And then the same thing, but to the opposite side. Support your head in your hand, or maybe you even keep your head down and just do opposite arm and leg. So let's look at a little modification for yourself. So if it's too much to bring your head up and bring the legs up, of course, keep one foot down on the ground and just float one leg up. If you need to keep your head down, make sure that your ribs stay as close to the mat as possible, even if you need to give a little head support, maybe a pillow or some books. And what you're going to do is take the opposite hand to knee. This is great if you have osteoporosis or if you have diastasis recti or any sort of herniations in your lumbar spine and really want to stay safe. I'm taking my hand to the inside and sort of upper knee. So my kneecap is here. I'm going a little bit up from it and to the inside, keeping my pelvis stable so that imaginary cup of coffee is stable. My ribs are sinking down, and what I'm going to do is push these 2 points together. So you're just going to breathe in, and as you exhale, push those two ends together until you feel this diagonal connect, right? So I'm feeling my shoulder blade into my ribs, my rib to my pelvis, and my pelvis to my ribs. So I'm feeling that connection and just holding that and breathing. And then you would switch sides. So you would take the other leg to opposite hand to leg and just find that connection. Another thing that happens as soon as we get a little more challenge and we start to add rotation, which is harder, our jaws start to tense up and our necks tense up. So I really want you to allow your head and your skull and your jaw to release and breathe. Remember to breathe as you do this. So this is the modification. This is your starting point. All right, so you could either stick with that or you can go for the exercise. Interlace your hands, take them behind your head. Bring your head and chest up, wiggle a little bit through those ribs and already get a sense of, I can just roll across the ribs here. Try and get the shoulder blades on the back, so on the rib cage, so they're not resting on the mat. Float one leg up. You could always keep this leg down, but the full exercise is to float both legs up, keeping the cup of coffee balanced, right? You are going to drop the right toes down and twist towards the left leg. So the leg that stays up, you're going to think that rib cage rotating towards that side. Breathe in as you come through the center. Exhale, go to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, rib to hip, hip to rib, twisting across. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Head releases. Exhale, twist. I'm coming center each time. One more time each side. Breathing center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Come center. Lower one foot down, other foot down. Bring your head down. Release. Do a little knee sway. Maybe you hug your knees into your chest and rock around. And breathe and come up to sitting. I want to know how you've progressed through all of these exercises. As you're at this one where you're adding rotation and the leg lift and all of that stuff, are you feeling really strong and connected to that core? Are you feeling like, oh, I'm still just learning how to differentiate my thighs from my pelvis? Where are you in that whole scale, and how is this journey going for you? I'd love to know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, keep moving.